Some of them make you want to stare in wonder. Some make you wonder what you're staring at, and a few appear to be staring back at you. These are some of the 50 displays known as art light installations that are illuminating the Danish capital of Copenhagen. It's the city's annual light festival. The warm glow in the cold night has been said to raise spirits and help people see the city in a whole new light. It's reportedly the biggest festival of its kind in Europe. The installations will remain throughout most of the month, and one of them is designed to reflect viewers' emotions in color. A student who tried it said she felt happy and the colors were happy, so you could call the accuracy delightful. Hi, I'm Carl Azuz, and Fridays are awesome! Real news! We're thankful to have you watching the world from A to Z. A heist to steal 100,000 eggs from a truck in Pennsylvania could be a symptom of a growing problem in the United States, the rising cost of a staple in the American diet. Between last November and December, the government says the average price of eggs jumped up 50 cents per dozen. Some stores have none to sell. Shoppers say they're having to revise their grocery lists. Waffle House added a temporary surcharge of 50 cents to every egg bought, and that's the item they sell the most. The main reason for this? Avian flu or bird flu. The American Egg Board says millions of egg-laying hens have had to be culled or voluntarily killed to contain the virus. Demand for eggs has also increased, contributing to the price rises. Experts say politics aren't actually to blame, and they do expect prices eventually will come back down as availability increases. But it may take months or longer for that to happen. Industry officials say bird flu outbreaks need to stop first.
Word of knowledge. Which of these National Football League teams has the most Super Bowl wins? Pittsburgh Steelers, San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs, New York Giants. There are two teams that have won 6 Super Bowls. One is the New England Patriots and the other is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It is the most watched TV event in the U.S. A third of America's population typically tunes in every year to see the top 2 NFL teams go head-to-head. For Super Bowl 59 this Sunday in New Orleans, Louisiana, tickets are listed online for between $3,000 and $4,000 each. But that's about half their price last year, in part because the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles played in this game 2 years ago. The Eagles want revenge for their loss. The Chiefs want to become the first team ever to win 3 Super Bowls in a row.
With the price tag of some Super Bowl ads at $8 million for 30 seconds, Donna Werdelich, a professor of marketing at Virginia Tech, says advertisers still see the steep price of admission as worth it.
Why? Because now it's a little bit more of a show, right? There's a couple of more components that are really, really involved now, such as the Taylor Swift effect.
Taylor Swift's presence as she roots for Chiefs star Travis Kelce, broadening the game day audience and the opportunities for brands like Dove Spot encouraging girls in sports and Haagen-Dazs.
What happened to Fast Life?
Not today.
With Vin Diesel showing a softer side.
Memorable marketing moments and really bringing and engaging the country in and really, really trying to bring it back to this is one of the staples of America.
Watching at home means eating at home. The National Retail Federation says Americans will spend about $18.6 billion on game day celebrations, with most consumers buying food and beverages. Wells Fargo found some game day favorites more costly this year and others a little less.
We're seeing what we're calling kind of a seesaw effect out in the grocery store.
Items pricier than last year include raw chicken wings up 7%, avocados and cherry tomatoes both up more than 11%, with the domestic supply of tomatoes crunched after Florida hurricanes.
Consumers are going to be paying more, not only due to popularity, but also because they are being imported.
Frozen pizzas, chips, and salsa among items trending cheaper than last year. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
On this date in world history. When people think of Charlie Chaplin, this is often what comes to mind. It's a character called the Tramp that the English actor created. It was internationally famous during the silent film era 100 years ago, and the Tramp made his first appearance on this date in 1914 in a film called Kid Auto Races at Venice. On February 7, 1992, something called the Maastricht Treaty was signed. It was named for a city in the Netherlands where the 12 members of the European communities had met and established the European Union. Today, the EU has 27 members. History was also made on this date in 2005 after sailing for 71 days, 14 hours, 18 minutes, and 33 seconds. Britain's Ellen MacArthur had achieved the world record for fastest solo circumnavigation of the globe. Her journey had covered more than 27,350 nautical miles.
Ceremonial drumming, setting the stage for game time. This is stickball. Played by Native Americans for centuries, it's possibly the oldest game on the continent, often called the grandfather of field sports. Now, this stickball is not to be confused with the baseball-type game of the same name played on streets in big cities. Known as ishtaboli in the Choctaw language, stickball features 30 players on a field, each carrying a pair of sticks, called kabacha. A goalpost sits at either end, and a team scores when a small woven leather ball called a toa hits the post.
Stickball inspired the game of lacrosse, but stickball players use 2 netted sticks to grab and throw the ball, and there is no padding.
No padding, yet this game is very much a full contact sport. Any player with the ball can expect to be tackled or brought down by the jersey, but anything above the shoulders is off limits, and late and early tackles are prohibited. Variations of stickball were an important part of cultural identity for native tribes. The Choctaw refer to the game as the little brother of war. Stickball was especially aggressive in early days, used as a tool for settling disputes and to keep warriors strong and fit, ready in case of war. By the 1970s, stickball saw a revival. Now, every year in July since 1975, the World Series of Stickball has been held at the Choctaw Indian Fair in Mississippi, the sport's premier tournament, where men's and women's teams come to play the game in the same way their ancestors did for generations.
We love hearing from you and finding out where you're watching from. The Cornhusker State is also known as Nebraska, and the city of Sydney is where the Red Raiders are watching. Hello to Mr. Burtis' class at Sydney High School. Meanwhile, Princeton High School is where the Tigers roam. Great to see Mr. O'Brien's class in Princeton, Missouri. That's also known as the Show Me State. And we have one more stop to make today in Rapid City, South Dakota. Miss Mitchell's class is online there at North Middle School. Gotta love the Eagles in the Mount Rushmore State. It's not uncommon, even near the Australian city of Sydney, to find reptiles in your backyard. And a man there reportedly saw a couple red-bellied black snakes like this one in his. But when a snake catcher showed up to check things out, he uncovered more than a couple. There were over 100 of these venomous creatures lurking near a house. And one reportedly gave birth to more after she was caught. All of them were removed, as far as they know, and relocated to a wildlife park. A story that could hit home even for a hepped-up herpetologist. It's one thing to watch one winding hither and slither, but to see dozens of snakes alive nest to where bare feet dare to tread would be a red bellyful, tipping the scales for anyone considering a move and causing a fang-scaled hissy fit. I'm Carl Azuz for The World from A to Z. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@theworlda to Z and leave us a comment this weekend. You mean the world to me.